With many experts now pointing to an increase in coronavirus infections as evidence of a second wave, the Trump administration is still plowing forward with its plan to continue urging the country to reopen. As a result, Arizona hospitals have already been overwhelmed by the pandemic in recent days, and now we have the outbreak spiking in both California, Texas, and North Carolina. South Carolina also seeing a spike of infections, proving that COVID is nowhere near done with us. In fact, it was never done with us. We didn't even finish the first wave. Now we're already on the second wave. Now, as a result of this, what is the White House doing? Are they, meeting with the coronavirus task force to try to figure out how they can really put a stop to this? Well, as you're going to see, no. I mean, look, you've already seen the tweets from Stephen Mnuchin saying, oh, no, we're not going to shut down the economy again for COVID. Oh, no. Even though we're seeing a gigantic spike, we're not going to do anything. Can't shut down the economy again. That would hurt the donors. That would hurt Wall Street. That would hurt my 401k. Or not, sorry. Steve Mnuchin does not have a 401k. But he does have investments in the stock market, as a lot of these people who are really invested in the stock market literally do. And so, of course, they're going to do anything to hurt stocks. And that includes shutting down the country once again. Not going to do that. And so the White House, what they are planning on doing is just to allow the governors to continue to reopen, but shift the blame. And that blame, of course, will go to Mexico. Blame Mexico. Because, of course, according to administration officials speaking to the Associated Press, the administration's COVID-19 task force finally met on Thursday. And let me give you some context and background on that before I go on. This task force has rarely met in recent weeks. So they're barely meeting. And Dr. Fauci had gone in some interviews, and he talked about how Donald Trump barely talks to me anymore. At least we would have meetings like, daily meetings, daily briefings, and then, weekly briefings. Now, barely even talk. And then even after some of those briefings, we would go and we would talk face to face, and we would, talk about what's going on with coronavirus and how we're going to continue to implement strategy. And in order to do this, of course, Donald Trump didn't listen to any of that, of course. But now, barely meeting. Well, they finally did have a meeting on Thursday because of this second wave. And now some White House officials, and there's no saying that Donald Trump was involved in this, by the way. Some of those White House officials tried to pin the blame on people traveling to and from Mexico. I wonder who one of those people is. Stephen Miller. Something in my throat there. Now, the outbreak, according to the Associated Press, has hit the nation's Hispanic population especially hard in recent weeks. The task force is looking at whether the spikes may be related to legal travel between the U.S. and Mexico, which has 133,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases and nearly 16,000 deaths. So now, wait a minute. Now, Mexico, 130,000 confirmed cases, right? 16,000 deaths. Whoa. I mean, you'd look at that and be like, oh my God, those are terrible numbers. But wait, in America, we have more than 2 million cases and 113,000 deaths. And that's likely to continue increasing, obviously. So wait, now we have more cases. And yet they want to blame Mexico for the increase of cases while our country, has been opening up. Now, understand that we had an agreement with Mexico to limit travel between both countries, right? So now the administration is saying, or at least some members of the administration are saying, those increasing cases, nothing to do with opening up early. No, it's those Mexicans. Ridiculous. No, if it's anyone, if anyone's to blame, it's us. I mean, just think about all those white wealthy tourists that were, that would go to Cancun, right? They don't care about travel limitations, right? They don't care at all about that stuff. No, they would go over there and very likely infect people. And this, of course, could have been before we had some of these travel restrictions. I mean, you have people going over, the border, probably partying, getting some coronas, and then getting the corona, or at least spreading the corona around. And so, no, the Trump administration wants to blame poor farmers picking vegetables for COVID, for the increases of COVID. The people most vulnerable, that's who he decides to blame. Because, of course, that's Donald Trump. In reality, of course, anybody can be a super spreader and not show any symptoms. I know there was a World Health Organization report saying, oh, no, that's not the case. But then they had to backtrack on that. That's why there's a lot of people that don't trust the World Health Organization. But here's the thing about that. Science is not, it is a process. And it's not always 100% cut and dry. Science has to follow the evidence. And right now, coronavirus, we're still trying to figure this thing out. All right. And so, look, we're trying to figure it out. We're doing the best that we can. Sometimes you're going to have contradictory findings because this is something new. This is something we didn't know before. And so that's the issue here. But look, who are the people that are most likely to spread this? Again, asymptomatic people, right? But there's a way to really stop that. And that's to wear a mask, even if you don't have symptoms. Who are the people that are against masks the most? Well, that would be Trump supporters. That would be conservatives. That would be people who don't believe in science. And also those who are the same people who are attempting Trump's rally on Juneteenth in Oklahoma. Those are the people that are going to be spreading this around. But of course, no, we're going to blame it on Mexico because, well, those people are just that terrible. And I wish I was kidding, but no. Any opportunity to be racist, they're going to take it. Any opportunity to deflect from their own failures, their own failed policies, they're going to take it. Look, people who know what's going on, scientists, experts, they're all saying, we shouldn't open up without aggressive testing. We're not ready. They did it anyway. We said coronavirus cases are going to spike if you go out and party on Labor Day. What happened? That's exactly what happened. We said we're going to prolong this thing if we mess around. And what do you know? We messed around, and now we're starting to find out. And I can guarantee that after Trump's rally, we're going to have an even bigger outbreak in Oklahoma and elsewhere. And as a result, I think we're going to end up having, at least in some states, another round of state quarantines. And guess whose fault it's going to be? Ain't Mexico's. It's going to be our fault. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.